Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Today's looking like a journey on the Gauntlet Runner. We're going our way to the tomb to get the chalice, but on the way I have to choose between two directions, and decided to go the direction with the toothbrush. Today, I'll spend an extra day to get to the dragon, whatever it was called, but for now, we get going on our trip. Me and Hulkenberg talk as she tells me some backstory with Rodanthe. It starts with her family. They found prominence through means beyond wealth they lacked. Scholarship mostly, with some even getting into politics. But she found herself an outlier in all of it. Her mind pursued on martial arts, which left her more or less an outcast, with her family unsure on what to do. The family offered her no meaning worth pursuing, so she ended up joining the guard when she was still young. She believed in the military she would be able to blaze a trail for her own, but those ideals are meaningless in her house. Before she could have a chance to prove her skills, her family made arrangements for her to be knighted, so that her name will not be disgraced. But due to that, she was fortunate to meet Rodanthe. He was born into a storied Rohag household, but his family dissolved and he joined the military soon after, adding that they're both alike in some ways, seeking to rise on their own merit regardless of familial background. But it changed when after the training was complete and Rodanthe being openly considered for the prince's royal guard, she was, even at her young age, ultimately selected. She relents. Rodanthe lacked for nothing as a knight. They were equals, but her family had the right words in the right ears compared to him. And due to that, he was denied appointment, left to be sent to the front lines to die alongside common foot soldiers. And I can agree with Hulkenberg. If I was him, I would also be frustrated with that. But he made a name for himself and returned, but thinks about how high he is now. I ask if she respects that. She shakes her head, and his current behavior isn't one of a knight commander. It hardly bears saying that knights cannot allow such abuse of power. Calling herself partly responsible, thinking she needs to intervene. It was your family, not you, Hulkenberg. But she continues wondering if it's her place to judge him. She carved her own path, her own title came only at her family's behest. And she failed to protect the prince, left a wanderer after the curse. She speaks lofty words, but what weight do they have for a knight like her, one that is errant and eroded and failed in her solemn duty? I tell her that she's still a knight, but she replied that she's no knight worth the pride of the order, adding once upon a time she thought herself to be righteous. She respected the order and brought down many a criminal to justice. She saw the punishment was meted out, and yet, looking back, she knows it was just a matter of convenience, a way to disguise the weakling she is, a knightly standing held up by a family she had forsaken. And in that time she failed the prince, ran from her post to find herself with no more honor than a thief in the night. She fled her family, her knighthood, and Rodanthe can see that, asking who is she to claim any chivalry over him. I ask if she'll repeat history and run. She stops for a moment and says that she's afraid to face him and afraid of facing herself. I bring out the broken sword from our sparring a while ago. It's a symbol of our friendship, as a reminder that I'll help her through this. She stares at it, taking it all in for a moment, realizing that she lost sight of something very important, thanking me, seeming to be indebted to me as our bond grows stronger. With that, Hulkenberg seems to be wanted to be left alone, so she can think, so I give her some space.
The village of Inundo, a small settlement located north of Brylehaven, lies ahead. The industry that once thrived here fell into decline, and now the able-bodied youth dream instead of leaving home. A small population of mostly children and elders remain, and visitors are scarce. The Gauntlet Runner slows to a stop.
Giving it some thought?
We make it to a swampy town that is Inundo. It's a ghost town, people living there afraid of the monsters that lurk in the trees. But I was able to give them some business, grabbing the toothbrush of Hygienia and pushing onwards.
As the sky turns the same muddy color as the land below, the Gauntlet Runner arrives in a quiet land. However, confidence would be ill-advised. Listen carefully for footfalls in the mud, and move at the break of dawn.
And during the night, me and Gallica spend a quiet moment reading a fantasy novel. A fantasy novel that, with a little talking between me and Gallica, boosts my imagination as I turn in for the night. Of course, I never get to rest, as we're attacked by a bunch of trash mobs. They're quite weak, all things considered, taking a turn to finish. But one of those weird wisp beings appeared, and I tried with all my might, but alas, I wasn't strong enough, and it fled. That's fine, I wanted to sleep anyways.